what happens in your brain when something bad happens. When we're going to use the example of a fire in a school. Okay, so the amygdala, which is right there. You see that bottom one right there? The amygdala. Fire alarm goes off. It is the fire alarm. Bing, ding, 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 ding. There's a fire alarm. Oh, my God, there's a fire in the school. That's your amygdala going off. And it's going to signal the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, which is the 911 caller or the secretary at the school. And her job is to get emergency responders onto the scene as quickly as possible. This triggers the hypothalamus, which is the 911 operator, the other end of the line. She picks up, and her job is then to call and dispatch the adrenal glands, which are down by your kidneys. These are the first responders, and they're going to drop hormones. They're going to drop stress hormones, adrenaline, ACTH, cortisol into your bloodstream to deal with this problem. To whatever is going on, fight or flight. It's going to get your body ready to run or to fight. And so that's the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands are the first responders. The firemen, firefighters, police officers come up to the school. And out of that truck comes the hippocampus onto the school campus. And this is the fire chief. And the fire chief basically says to, there's all these other calls coming in. Hey, there's a fire at the school. There's a fire at the school. The fire chief says, listen, we've got the responders on. It's going to be fine. Hippocampus is like, we got enough. It's going to be fine. You guys with me? You've seen this before? Then you have the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Say it with me. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is the most important part, I think, of the brain. I love this part of the brain. Right, Hannah Yock, my nurse that should know this? Yes, okay. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is just the most exciting part of the brain. And this is like the school administrator who sees that if it's a real fire or some punk pulling the fire alarm. And so, yes, Lane, we know. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, I love just saying that, is where reason and cognitive ability, a lot of your personality is right up here. It's the top part of your brain. That's your frontal lobes. This is everything I talked about beforehand is your limbic system. And that limbic system, that's all like, without words, it's like, caveman, feel bad, don't like fire, burn, hurt, people don't like me, what, That's your limbic system. Then it comes to your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, to which says, no, caveman. That's not what's actually happening here. She doesn't hate you. She's having a bad day. Limbic system says, well, okay. Because dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is a really smart guy. He's British. He has to be because he's smart. And smart people talk like that. Hello, Limbic, Mr. Limbic. Please, go get a spot of tea. Everything is fine. They're not against you. They love you. They're a part of the body. They didn't shake your hand merely because they didn't see you. Limbic system, okay, fine. My example is this. You're walking through the grass, and you see a snake out of the corner of your eye. Your amygdala jumps, bam, problem, okay? Goes to your pituitary gland. Says, hey, we need some help right now. We need like blood and adrenaline to get us out of this situation to fight or flight. The other side, the hypothalamus says, okay, I'll send somebody right away. And hey, adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are like, we're ready, let's go. And they go, okay, and they're gonna shoot blood out of your intestines into your muscles, so your muscles are gonna be strong, and you'll be like, I'm gonna be able to run, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And the hippocampus, the fire chief says, okay, we got plenty, we got enough of that, we don't need any more of that. And then all of a sudden, your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex says, it's just a water hose. So all that thing, your sympathetic system, you're like, you're hyped, you're jacked, you're ready to, what's good, okay. And then your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is. It's just a water hose, friend. Let's go have a spot of tea. And then it'll take a few minutes, but your parasympathetic system will kick in and say, chill, dude, and it goes back down to normal, right? Okay. And not only the negative thought patterns, but a constant firing of the amygdala, which keeps the alarm firing day and night. Imagine if your alarm clock was going off day and night. That's what's happening in your mind when you're dealing with depression. From low-grade depression all the way to the top stuff, the amygdala is firing, and it's easily set off, and it starts you down that loop again. And the more you're used to it, the more it happens. The more you're used to shutting it down, the harder it's going to be for that amygdala to fire off and only be used when it's necessary, like in an event where it needs to be used, when it was designed to be used in a real fight or flight situation. Keeping you in this constant state of stress if it keeps firing. And this fight or flight mentality never makes you have this feeling that you never have peace. So what happens to your body if this keeps happening? We're continuing down the road of science. The sympathetic system stays active. That whole thing we've been talking about stays active. It was meant for emergencies only, but it's happening all the time, every day, all day, which activates the immune system. These guys are like Navy SEALs. With macrophages. Someone say macrophages. Say thank you, Jesus, for macrophages. Macrophages. Those dudes look bad to the bone. Don't they? They're like going out there and say, hey, virus, whip, crack with his whippy tail. And the beast was done. Macrophages are white blood cells whose job is to locate microscopic foreign bodies and to eat them. Our immune system is to our body what the National Guard is to the United States. It's to protect us from invasion, and when they're not protecting us from invasion, they're preparing for an invasion. These guys are just like they're always ready to fight. And inside these macrophages is pro-inflammatory cytokines. Someone say that with me. Pro-inflammatory cytokines. Come on, Macy. Say it with me. Pro-inflammatory cytokines. Or for short, just call them cytes. They have websites. It's crazy. It's like, what up? Check out me killing all these viruses. They have guns up. Don't worry about it. Pro-inflammatory cytokines, their job is to see infections and to blast them. They got like sawed-off shotguns. So an invader comes into your house, the cytokine's like, boom, and he's going to blow a hole right in that guy who comes through your door. But while he's blowing a hole in the guy that came through the door, that probably only happens once, if ever, he's also blowing holes and BBs all over the rest of the room. It's okay to take care of the invader, right? Someone say, thank you, Jesus, for the pro-inflammatory cytokines. Woo, you guys passed the class. So these guys are powerful, and they cover a wide area. An invader in the house gets damaged, but so does the house get a little bit damaged. So someone say, we're going somewhere. If there's no invader, you just got these cytokines running around through the house because they've been told there's an invader. And every time something happens, boom, boom, and they're running through the house, blowing holes in walls all throughout your house. They're blowing holes in your doors and your windows. Hide your kids, hide your wives. Your house is, if this keeps going on, you ain't going to have a house. You keep blowing holes in your house, you ain't going to have a house.